Catherine will speak on my behalf. Mrs. Meghan Markle has repeatedly written to the palace seeking our intervention in the Epstein matter, but, like Andrew, she must face her own consequences. The Crown cannot shield her. If press or authorities inquire, Catherine will address it.
Inside the fortified confines of Buckingham Palace, during a stormy night in late October 2025, King Charles III was by himself in his personal office. The space was softly illuminated by one light fixture, creating elongated shadows over vintage bookcases and images of former rulers. Beyond the windows, thunder echoed across London, reflecting the chaos in the king's thoughts. Over recent months, rumours had spread about past controversies reemerging, connecting the royal household to figures that demanded attention. However, this evening, a breaking point was reached. Charles, typically calm and deliberate in his outward behaviour, experienced an overwhelming wave of irritation. He grabbed a video recording device, usually used for formal statements, and started capturing a message that would ripple through the family and the public. This wasn't a refined address prepared by staff. It was unfiltered, straightforward, and targeted directly at his son's wife, Meghan Markle. With the recording indicator flashing, Charles's tone revealed a sharpness seldom associated with the ruler. He discussed limits, outcomes, and the importance of establishing boundaries. What precise words did he use, and what prompted this timing? The explanations are rooted in a network of correspondence, controversies, and evolving family relationships that have developed over time. The monarch's choice to create this recording followed a sequence of confidential exchanges that heightened conflicts. Based on insiders near the palace, Meghan had been corresponding with Charles on several occasions, looking for explanations and possibly aid in areas subject to public examination. These were not informal memos. They were official documents voicing worries about the management of specific connections in the press. Charles, weighed down by his siblings' consequences from comparable problems, considered this a critical juncture. He had previously implemented strong measures against Prince Andrew, removing his designations and expelling him from royal properties in October 2025, as declared by Buckingham Palace. This decision received approval from certain quarters as an essential action to separate the monarchy from disputes, yet it also exposed the family's weaknesses. Currently, with Meghan's name surfacing in marginal conversations tied to the same controversy, Charles believed he had to respond. The video, portions of which leaked and spread digitally soon afterward, displayed a ruler safeguarding the establishment no matter the price. He stressed that the monarchy could not meddle in individual, judicial, or journalistic conflicts, likening it to Andrew's circumstances. Yet, the most unexpected aspect was his assignment of responsibility to Catherine, the Princess of Wales, to manage these topics. This selection indicated a change in the family's approach to emergencies, relying on Catherine's reliable public persona. As the footage continued, Charles's manner became more resolute. He spoke to Meghan personally, encouraging her to withdraw and permit the palace's selected delegate to deal with questions. This extended beyond a single problem. It mirrored profound annoyances inside the family. For an extended period, the Sussexes' choice to withdraw from royal responsibilities had generated divisions. And now, with outside stresses increasing, Charles aimed to consolidate the family's reaction under a more conventional framework. The external tempest appeared to mimic the inner one, as staff subsequently recounted the king walking back and forth in the room after filming, considering the consequences. He had no idea this communication would spark discussions on allegiance, authority, and the monarchy's trajectory. But to grasp why Charles selected this route, we need to explore the roots of the controversy that initiated everything. The Epstein situation has overshadowed prominent individuals for more than 10 years, reappearing periodically with every new file, disclosure, or account. Jeffrey Epstein, the financier whose connections included stars, leaders, and aristocrats, represented uncontrolled power. Within the royal sphere, Prince Andrew's link to him attracted the greatest attention, resulting in Andrew's retreat from official roles in 2019 and his ultimate loss of titles in 2025. King Charles, taking the throne during these repercussions, has managed the aftermath cautiously, releasing declarations via the palace that stress responsibility without personal engagement. But lately, focus has shifted to other indirect references, including Meghan Markle. Legal files from Epstein's proceedings, revealed in early 2024, mentioned her name briefly. Testimonies from people like Johanna Sjoberg remembered Epstein bragging about associations with diverse famous people, including the Duchess of Sussex, although no proof indicated actual encounters or participation. These assertions, magnified by journalism and internet conjecture, put Meghan in a difficult position, leading her to request palace backing. Charles's reply in the video made clear comparisons to Andrew's scenario, declaring that people must confront their own results without royal protection. This position matches his dealings with his brother, where he started procedures to eliminate titles and privileges, as outlined in palace statements. The king's irritations arose from ongoing pleas for involvement, which he saw as efforts to utilize the monarchy's sway. Accounts show Meghan's correspondence to Charles, beginning as far back as 2023, first centered on other familial topics like implicit prejudice, but later expanded to include anxieties over press treatment of these Epstein-connected speculations. By 2025, with new messages and accounts appearing, the strain grew. Charles, publicly challenged about Andrew's connections during a trip to Lichfield in October 2025, became tired of the family's reputation being pulled into persistent disputes. This context prepared the ground for the video. Charles, recognized for his ecological efforts and balanced diplomacy, infrequently shows frustration openly. Nevertheless, those inside describe an accumulation of exasperation driven by the monarchy's requirement to update while maintaining its honour. Assigning tasks to Catherine was a calculated decision. Acknowledging her effectiveness in royal interactions since her 2011 wedding, Catherine has managed delicate declarations, such as her 2024 Cancer Revelation video, with composure that appeals internationally. By authorizing her, Charles intended to concentrate replies, preventing scattered family comments. But this choice also illuminated hidden conflicts as Meghan's self-directed course conflicted with the palace's cohesive approach. Written exchanges have traditionally served as a means for royal negotiation, but in today's world, they pose dangers of disclosures and misunderstandings. Meghan's notes to King Charles started following her 2021 interview with Oprah, where she highlighted concerns of implicit bias in the family. By April 2023, confirmations emerged that she had composed to voice worries about addressing such issues, requesting a private conversation. Charles replied with his own missives, recognizing the concerns, but stressing familial solidarity. These interactions, described in Omid Scobie's 2023 publication Endgame, portrayed a ruler dealing with age-related gaps. As Epstein files reappeared in 2024 and 2025, Meghan's messages apparently changed. Insiders imply she requested palace explanations on managing press questions about any supposed connections, dreading harm to her image. Ghislaine Maxwell's 2025 incarceration statements, claiming awareness of Meghan's entertainment background, added intensity despite lacking proof. Meghan, residing in California, considered these as groundless assaults, motivating her to ask for aid. Charles, though, perceived similarities to Andrew's requests for help, which he had declined to preserve the crown. His recorded statement mentioned these continual compositions, pressing for acceptance of autonomous management. This letter-based exchange emphasizes the family's interaction difficulties. Meghan's method, straightforward and bold, differs from classic royal moderation. Charles's assignment to Catherine indicates a liking for her compassionate manner, observed in projects like the Forward Trust sponsorship. As portions of the video leaked, it provoked inquiries about confidentiality and authority structures. In the footage, taken with a basic arrangement in his office within the lavish but grave environment of Buckingham Palace, King Charles looked severe, his expression marked by determination under the gentle light of table lamps that accentuated the weariness from decades of royal obligations. The recording, supposedly captured in a rare instance of openness, depicted the monarch in a custom suit, positioned at an ancient oak table filled with governmental documents and family pictures. Mrs. Meghan Markle has sent numerous letters to the palace asking for our help in the Epstein affair, he declared, his tone stable yet infused with clear annoyance. The phrases were conveyed with the careful accuracy of an individual used to tactful moderation, but strained to its edges. But similar to Andrew, she must confront her own outcomes. The Crown cannot protect her. If the press or officials question, Catherine will respond. He stopped for impact, his eyes fixed straight at the lens, before stating resolutely, "Catherine will represent me." This personal statement, quite atypical for a sovereign who usually conveys through formal avenues or scripted talks, indicated a critical threshold after extended internal considerations and rising family strains. Those knowledgeable about palace functions proposed that the recording wasn't meant for instant public distribution, but acted as a confidential note, maybe first circulated among a small group of consultants before its ultimate exposure. The communications fury was evident in his presentation, a significant shift from his standard serene and collected public character, refined over years of duty and latest trials like his health struggles. Accounts from those near the king suggest this eruption resulted from a build-up of annoyances, especially following firm steps against his brother, Prince Andrew. Only weeks before, in October 2025, Charles had eliminated Andrew's leftover royal designations and awards, an action proclaimed by Buckingham Palace that highlighted the ruler's dedication to responsibility during continued examination. By referencing Andrew specifically in the video, Charles established a strict limit, maintaining that private affairs must stay apart from the Crown's establishment, a rule he has applied strictly to defend the monarchy's standing. This comparison wasn't accidental. It resonated with Charles's public confrontation during a Lichfield visit in October 2025, where a demonstrator interrogated him about Andrew's links, leading the king to restate his position on non-interference. Authorising Catherine, the Princess of Wales, to manage associated questions was a practical and planned selection, utilising her established success in media relations. For example, her management of image alteration disputes in 2024 showed her skill in steering through press tempests with openness and elegance, strengthening the family's reliability when confidence in organisations is delicate. More lately, in November 2025, Catherine gave her initial public address after her cancer revelation, speaking to corporate executives at the Future Workforce Conference with a compelling note on valuing affection, moments, and kindness beside career achievements, displaying her sympathetic interaction approach that appeals broadly. The video's disclosure, likely starting from internal palace routes or via unsanctioned online distribution, magnified its effect well past the planned recipients. It not only emphasized Charles's wider plan to merge control and optimize family replies to emergencies, but also revealed fundamental weaknesses in royal connections, igniting extensive journalistic review and communal conversation. Observers remarked how this action established Catherine as a key personality in the monarchy's contemporary image, possibly indicating a shift across generations in managing delicate topics. However, it also prompted concerns about the viability of such rigid boundaries, particularly as dramatic allegations connecting remote relatives to historical controversies kept emerging in 2025, including unverified declarations from individuals like Ghislaine Maxwell regarding entertainment ties. Essentially, the footage captured Charles's resolve to defend the crown's purity, even if it required directly addressing uneasy family interactions. Catherine, the Princess of Wales, has progressively become an essential messenger and balancer in the monarchy, particularly during King Charles's rule. Her touching 2024 footage discussing her medical issues represented a fresh phase of royal openness and compassion, successfully updating how the family interacts with society and personalizing the establishment during individual difficulties. This method not only received broad endorsement, but also created a standard for dealing with sensitive subjects with poise, differing from more conventional discreet royal exchanges. King Charles's choice to assign questions linked to the Epstein issue to her demonstrates a deep degree of confidence in her discernment and negotiating abilities, placing her as a reliable mediator in steering the family's most subtle disputes. Catherine's history offers a solid base for these duties. Born as Catherine Middleton in 1982, she obtained a degree in art history from the University of St Andrews, where she encountered Prince William, building a collaboration based on common academic interests. Her life before royalty, encompassing a sabbatical year dedicated to service in Chile and education in Italy, developed toughness and an international viewpoint. Moving into royal obligations, she has supported various charities like the Royal Foundation, emphasizing early youth growth via programs such as Shaping Us, introduced in 2023 to advance psychological well-being and household assistance. Her sponsorships include groups like the Anna Freud Center for Mental Health and Place to Be, where she promotes kids' welfare, frequently touring educational institutions and medical facilities to add a personal element. This authorization solidifies her as a crucial link between the monarchy's historic customs and the requirements of a contemporary world full of examination. In the past few months, during persistent guesses about family controversies, Catherine has kept a respectful quiet, directing her efforts into prominent activities. For example, her presence at the 2025 Royal Variety performance with Prince William demonstrated her composure, quietly introducing a fresh joint coat of arms that represents their combined presence. Accounts suggest her key involvement in applying a strict no-tolerance rule toward Prince Andrew's controversies, backing King Charles in shielding the monarchy's purity and prospects. Her return after health obstacles has been acknowledged for improving the family's reputation, especially following Andrew-associated disturbances, as she presented talks to business heads and joined occasions that confirm royal importance. Additionally, Catherine's defensive position is clear in her alleged participation in overseeing communications, including preventing specific contacts from the Sussexes in 2025, which highlights her dedication to protecting the main family's unity. By assuming these positions, she successfully guards King Charles from immediate involvement in disputed matters, allowing him to focus on larger goals like ecological promotion and global negotiation. Royal specialists observe that Charles sees her as a contemporary upcoming queen, appreciating her capacity to engage with newer age groups and represent the developing aspect of the monarchy. This tactical placement not only boosts her impact, but also readies her for a larger position when William becomes king, where she will act as queen consort, aiding the crown with her mix of empathy, expertise, and progressive outlook. The dissemination of King Charles's video communication initiated a series of responses inside the royal family, revealing enduring underlying splits and encouraging reflection on devotion and heritage. Prince William, as the next in line, provided subdued yet steadfast backing for his father's resolute position, seeing it as an essential step to protect the monarchy's purity during continuing controversies. Insiders near William state that his agreement comes from prolonged irritation with relatives whose behaviours have drawn communal attention, including his uncle Andrew's ongoing connections to Epstein, which William has supposedly viewed with strong contempt, internally describing him as someone to be kept at a distance, regardless. This backing also mirrors William's larger attempts to steady the establishment, particularly as frictions with his sibling Harry and sister-in-law Meghan have continued since their 2020 withdrawal from primary royal tasks. Communal disclosures in publications, discussions, and films have merely intensified these gaps, with William focusing on the central family's solidarity over efforts to reconcile. Catherine, placed prominently as the appointed communicator, tackled her fresh responsibility with typical preparedness, moderated by prudence. Recognized for her focus on household balance and psychological health support, she has personally voiced a wish to manage questions with understanding, seeking to reduce rather than heighten circumstances. Her careful perspective prioritizes maintaining tranquility within the palace, while she handles the intricacies of representing the crown on these delicate subjects. This assignment has established her as a calming influence, but it also emphasizes her increasing power in emergency oversight, a skill she has refined through individual difficulties like her medical disclosures. Across the ocean, Meghan's group saw the video as a harsh rejection, heightening sensations of separation from the royal circle. Those inside her group have expressed significant letdown, understanding Charles's denial of aid as a persistence of the family's habit of lacking support amid press upheavals. The authorization of Catherine specifically has strengthened feelings of omission, with some implying it bolsters a story of preference for those staying inside the classic royal framework. Accounts suggest Meghan might increase her separation from distant relatives, like Princesses Eugenie and Beatrice, whose father's Epstein links have created a prolonged influence, making connections possibly harmful in the US communal view. Prince Harry, in the meantime, has stayed mostly quiet, although previous mentions in his autobiography about Andrew's controversy point to his knowledge of how these matters impact safety and family interactions. Inside Buckingham Palace, the video ignited vigorous internal conversations among staff and high-ranking royals about interaction tactics in a time of quick exposures and social network expansion. Some commend Charles's determination as a courageous move toward responsibility, contending it stops the monarchy from getting involved in individual disputes, similar to the persistent worries over Andrew's psychological state and image during new Epstein disclosures. Others fretted it might worsen communal views of separation, pushing for a more reconciling method to repair cross-ocean connections. These talks have spotlighted wider concerns about the family's togetherness, with the Epstein influence still dominating, leading to demands for openness while equating seclusion. In the end, this disturbance highlights the subtle equilibrium between individual devotions and organizational endurance in a current monarchy encountering constant examination. The exposure of King Charles's video communication set off an instant chaos among international media sources, with leading journals analyzing each segment and phrase for effects on royal solidarity. Titles from networks like CNN and BBC grasped the excitement, such as King Charles sets boundaries on controversies, Meghan targeted, and Royal divide intensifies as Charles assigns to Catherine amid Epstein reverberations. These articles not only doubted the family's cohesion, but also re-examined past frictions, making comparisons to the Sussexes' 2020 exit and continuing communal disputes. Communal sentiment, as shown in latest surveys, stayed sharply split. A YouGov poll from October 2025 indicated that while 79% of the UK backed Charles's strong position on accountability in comparable situations like Prince Andrew's, a significant 20% considered such actions as excessively severe, possibly distancing younger groups. Detractors claimed the king's irritated manner endangered depicting the monarchy as retaliatory instead of neutral, encouraging charges of bias inside the family. Online platforms burst with arguments. Tags like #royal accountability and #Meghan Epstein became popular globally. Participants broke down Meghan's marginal references in Epstein files, frequently exaggerating unfounded gossip from sensational press, though legal professionals and verifiers consistently rejected any meaningful ties, stressing that her name surfaced only in casual boasts by Epstein, lacking proof of engagement. Backers of Meghan emphasized the unjust attention, noting inconsistencies compared to other aristocrats, while Charles's advocates lauded his no protection rule as an updating measure. This digital excitement spread to sites like Reddit and Instagram, where discussions examined nonverbal cues in the video, guessing on hidden family pressures. Expectation grew regarding Catherine's possible function in responding to questions, considering her established history in emergency handling. From her composed 2024 wellness announcement to recent sponsorships like the Forward Trust, where she endorsed messages as Catherine to highlight her official roles, she has grown equivalent to compassionate yet commanding royal communication. Reviewers observed her participations at gatherings like the 2025 Royal Variety Performance, where her steady behavior strengthened communal confidence. The event rekindled larger talks on the monarchy's significance, reflecting Ipsos surveys from November 2025, displaying reducing endorsement among young people, with just 47% thinking the establishment aids the nation, lower than prior periods. Commentators cautioned that poor management of these controversies could speed up demands for change, adding extra strain on the palace's interaction plan. This occurrence marks a pivotal point for the royal household, emphasizing the creation of distinct limits and the tactical assignment of power in a period of increased attention. King Charles's video, regardless of its debated presentation, reinforces the Crown's guideline of non-involvement in private disputes, a concept reflected in his management of Prince Andrew's title withdrawal earlier in 2025, viewed as an attempt to rebuild organizational purity. By authorizing Catherine to oversee replies, Charles indicates a transition to a more cooperative guidance structure, possibly broadening her sway in forming upcoming interactions and communal involvements. Her position might develop to encompass more active emergency solutions, expanding on accomplishments like her direction at the 2025 Future Workforce Conference and Armistice Day honors. For Meghan, the communication strengthens her autonomy from palace aid, driving her more toward independent promotion through efforts like Archewell, while underscoring the difficulties of keeping connections after departure. As the monarchy navigates these chaotic periods, promoting inner solidarity becomes crucial to enduring outer strains. Latest surveys, such as YouGov's October 2025 monitor, show a slight increase in Charles's endorsement to 62%, implying that firm actions can enhance communal view, though 29% still see him unfavorably. Likewise, Ipsos information from November 2025 reveals 90% backing for particular changes, like Andrew's reduction, suggesting wider approval of updating initiatives. Nonetheless, age-based splits continue, with Statista noting that only around 40% of those under 30 support keeping the monarchy versus over 80% among elders. The video's inheritance could create a more robust, more durable establishment by focusing on openness and responsibility, or it might worsen splits if seen as isolating. Specialists like royal writer Andrew Lowney propose that these instances evaluate the monarchy's flexibility, pulling from past examples where controversies led to changes. Time will eventually uncover the complete consequences. But currently, it illustrates the complex harmony needed to combine age-old customs with the needs of modern responsibility and media-aware administration. As conversations progress, the emphasis could move toward active steps like improved communal involvements and strategy programs under Charles's leadership to maintain significance in an evolving Britain.